Hello, hello, welcome. Hi, welcome to True Crime Nurse. I am here with you to discuss the Shanquella Robinson case. I am going to share my screen and get started. First, I'm just going to do a little bit of housekeeping here, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. I have not made any videos in a while since I've been working on things. My name previously was Holistic Therapy, but I am now the True Crime Nurse. On my channel here, this is one of my first videos diving into true crime. I am a true criminal. I love the real true crime stories. I have a background as a research nurse, and on this channel, we will discuss how to vet information to make sure we are not a part of the misinformation train that is going around social media. As a nurse with a grad degree, we spend a lot of time in learning how to cite our sources, understanding what credible sources are, and understanding the research process in itself. Many people are not privy to this knowledge, so I am here to share as much knowledge that I have as well as learn from others. Research is intense, and many people go to school to do this. So um, common folks just don't understand the research process and credible sources. But we can kind of learn basic formality of what we need to be looking for before we say a thing is a thing. You have to get it from a credible site and source. So my rule of thumb is if you didn't see it, hear it, touch it, taste it, smell it, it is alleged, and you can't say it is a thing. So we are looking at tangible evidence, things we can see with our eyes. Even if you hear it with your own ears, once you pass that information on to someone else, it is not considered a good credible information because it could be lost in transmission. So it's almost like the game you play in school where you take a message and you pass it on to another person and whisper in their ear. And by the time it gets to the 30th person, the message has totally changed. That is what we're looking at when we are passing on hearsay. So let's get started. I would like to welcome everyone. Feel free to leave comments, suggestions, ideas about things, and I will be following up with another video where we kind of dive into what credible sources are, research site. I have a team with me that help kind of put some things together. We have been searching and also working, following this case with Shanquella Robinson for a few weeks now. So I came in a couple weeks late, but I was able to pretty much look at some of the information, look at some evidence that we have, tangible evidence, and look at things and kind of put together a few things. I'm going to bring up the timeline. First, I would like to discuss what happened. Then we'll go into the timeline. Then I would like to talk about each individual that was at Cabos, Mexico's with Shanquella. So we can kind of get an idea from just my investigation and what I found. Things that I noted. And so I will let you know if it's my opinion versus if it's something that is tangible and a source that can be utilized. Okay. So give me 1 second as we bring up my information. Hold on. We are going to Okay, so, all right. Today we're going to discuss the tragedy of Shanquella Robinson. So, what we're going to do is I'm just going to briefly discuss what happened on the sad day of October 29th, 2022. That was in 2000, on the 29th is when she passed away, but on the 28th is when she actually passed away. So on October 28th, Shanquella and her friends left to go to Cabos, Mexico. The trip was set from 10/28 to the 31st. So they were to arrive on Friday, October 28th, and they were to leave on that Monday, October 31st. The purpose of the trip, from my understanding, is Daejhanae is supposed to have a birthday on the 30, I believe it was the 31st. Her birthday was the 31st. And also Malik Dyer's birthday was also on the 22nd. So from that is one of the reasons for traveling. So Shanquella Robinson, she was born January 9th in 1997. She's a 25-year-old from Charlotte, North Carolina. Her and her 6 friends set out to San Cabos, Mexico on the 28th. Daejhanae Jackson, Malik St. Patrick Dyer, Winter Donovan, Khalil Cook, Elise Hyatt. All of these people went to San Jose Del Cabo. That is the southern tip of Mexico, at the Baja, California Peninsula. These friends rented a villa, and the villa was basically like a Airbnb that took place, and that was a 5-bedroom villa in San Jose del Cabo. On October 29th, that Saturday, 2022, Shanquella became, according to her friends, became sick from alcohol poisoning. Her friend Khalil Cook called her mother and let her mother know that she wasn't feeling well. And the second call she received later that day was from Khalil Cook, stating that it was alcohol poisoning and she passed away due to alcohol poisoning. The parents got an autopsy, and it revealed that there was a spinal cord injury that took place. Atlas subluxation and spinal cord injury. November 15th, a video appeared that went viral, and this video shook the world, with showing one of the girls, Daejhanae Jackson, brutally attacking Shanquella Robinson in the master bedroom of the villa. Shanquella Robinson was not fighting back and even stated that she was not going to fight back, while Daejhanae Jackson continuously punched her over, I would say about 20 punches is what we can see on the video, forcefully in her head, face, kicking her face, body, slamming her on the ground by her neck, and punching her down her neck and also in her head. And so with all of this, You can see her in the video on the floor, and on the video, we do not see her move or get up. I'll say, as far as movement, I'm talking about her actually rolling over, getting up, any type of activity from Shanquella, and then the video ends. So let's get into a little bit about Shanquella, and then we'll get into the timeline and the story. Okay, who was Shanquella? Shanquella Robinson was a spunky young lady from Charlotte, North Carolina. She had her own business, an entrepreneur, doing really well for her age. She had took great pleasure in providing hair services for young children, braiding their hair, and also having a boutique where she provided outfits and clothing for women. She began, I believe in 2020, she applied for a PPP loan, and she took her funds and invested wisely and became successful at her business. Shanquella Robinson was born, her name is Shanquella Renata Robinson. She's a 25-year-old, and she was born January 9th, 1997. She's an Aquarius, and like I had stated, her untimely death and departure from this earth was Saturday, October 29, 2022, in San Cabos, Mexico. She was the only child of her father, and her mom, Shanquella, also has a sister as well. Shanquella loved traveling, and she traveled often. If you go back and for me, I went back to kind of find out who she was. I looked through some of her social media posts, and Shanquella had various posts of feeling like she was always the one giving, feeling like people she trusts never had her back. She even made a comment, if somebody WWE her, you better jump in. So some of her messages, if you check them out yourself, I'll have to do, that's a whole separate video we'll have to do on that. If you look at her Facebook and also look at her, her Facebook and her Twitter was very cryptic, and some of the messages and things she spoke about actually came to pass. So it was very eerie, but I think when you're looking at true crime, it's very important to try to gather as much evidence about this person, to find out who this person is, to get a idea as to how they're thinking, what they're thinking, why did they do what they did, why did they go on the trip, and then it can help you fit the pieces of the puzzle together, because that's what we're kind of doing when we're looking at true crime and taking all of these pieces and putting them together and trying to look at information we have and information we don't have and disseminate all of that to kind of get an understanding of what's going on. So let's start out what happened. So what do we know? We know on October 28th, which was a Friday, there was 6 individuals that arrived at the Cabos villa. They resided in a 5-bedroom villa called Villa 32 in Los Cabos. The 5 people who arrived was Khalil Cook, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Shanquella Robinson, Elise Hyatt, Daejhanae Jackson. The following day, on the 29th, is when we allegedly, Nazir Wiggins arrived a day later. We have the Cabo Villa sign-in sheet there, and it shows us here where they resided in their time frame, and it shows all the names. But as we note, you can see that there's a couple numbers missing. So looking at the handwriting and kind of observing, it looks like the first 4 names was written by the same person, and then these other 3 may have been written by someone else. Nazir Wiggins claimed he did not sign himself in. So the question of the day is, we have the sheet. We don't know who filled out the sheet. We don't know what time everyone landed. That's important information to find out their flight time, who entered into this villa first, or did they all get on the airplane together? Did some come together and some came by themselves? We don't know. That would be great information. We do not know who put the villa in their name, who was the primary person that paid for the villa. There's a lot of people going around saying they think it's Shanquella, but we don't have any tangible evidence to show that. So that would be great information to find. So I can't really go by it. I can kind of say it would make sense, but I don't know for sure. So I don't like to assume things if we don't have any information that proves that she was the one to put it in her name. So we have them arriving on the 28th on Friday. The Cabo Villas form is filled out for the Linda 32. We have the names there on the villa. Nazir Wiggins came in the following day. And Nazir provided his itinerary showing that he came in on 10/29 at 12:19. We see how much the villa costs. It's $1,500 a night, and we have a total of 7 people that I would think would be splitting the amount, but we don't know actually how they decided to do it. I'm trying to look into how you go about signing up for one of these villas. I'm trying to see if they're going to ask for a down payment and then the rest has to be due in a certain time frame. It appears, according to Nazir's video, he said they were talking about this trip back in, I believe he said June. Don't quote me on that, but sometime we talked about it months ago because this was a birthday celebration that he was looking forward to. So what happened when they arrived? We have all of the people here, in my opinion, are suspects because we don't know who did what. We are putting pieces together with videos, and we will be discussing that to see who was there on the crime scene, who participated. So let's talk about suspect number 1. I kind of, before talking about the suspects, I kind of want to go through the timeline and then talk about each person. I'm gonna briefly go through the timeline. So we had them coming in on the 28th. They arrived. We have a video that surfaced with Shanquella walking through the home, and she's asking them, "Where are you at? Where are you at?" It don't take that long to get naked. And then she enters the room. They look funny, and they talk about swimsuits. We then have another video with her going skinny dipping in the pool by herself. On the video at the bottom, it says she's by herself. Then after that, we have a video of them eating tacos at a table. And I'm gonna go into this a little bit further. I'm just briefly going over the timeline. They're eating tacos, they're playing push-ups, they're playing the game. Another video pops up that to me would seem that it may have happened after the tacos, but timestamps could have been changed on this, but it says it happened before they ate tacos, where she's sleeping on a hammock. There's a hammock. That hammock is outside of her bedroom. And her best friend Khalil has the phone, and he's saying body, 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 body. And she's through for her, and she's asleep. And he's taking a video of her sleep, and then the video goes off. After that video, we have the fight. They're in her room. You can hear a voice see a beard, see a girl's fingernails that look like winter, hear a girl's voice, and you see Daejhanae brutally attacking Shanquella while she is naked and fight her until she's on the ground. The video goes off. And now we're trying to figure out what happened. I mean, I have an idea by looking at those things, and I will tell you from a medical and a nursing aspect as to why I think what I think. So now let's get into the people. We have suspect number one. We have Daejhanae Jackson. She's the one that you will see fighting Shanquella in the video. She's a 26-year-old female. She was born October 30th, 1996, and she was born in Connecticut. She currently resides in, she was in North Carolina. According to her LinkedIn, she was working at Blue Rhino. Her degree was in the health field. I'm not sure what area or specialty in the health field, but in her description, she said she's looking for to gain profession in the health industry, in the health field. She went to Winston-Salem University, and I forgot to mention that about Shanquella. Shanquella graduated from Winston-Salem University, and she's, I believe, her specialty was business, and I thought some nursing. I thought someone said something about the medical field. I'm not sure, but these people have met most of the acquaintances that she was in this hotel, in this villa with, she met at college. So as you see, this is Daejhanae. She has one child. It was hard to kind of find information on her. So I looked up as much information as I could, but she attended Suffield High School in Connecticut, and we have a picture here in the lower corner here where she's on a basketball team. So that's something new that my investigative team found. She is on the basketball team in 2012. And if you look on that back row, I wish I could click here. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Oh shoot. Sorry. This is Daejhanae back here. The third person I should have circled, but that's Daejhanae. She's pretty tall and statue. Shanquella is kind of small, petite girl, 120 pounds, we would say, very small. And let me see if I could. Kind of go in here so you can kind of see this a little bit more. Okay. So there you go right there. And let's look at let's go down. So we see this is Daejhanae. Suffield. That's in Connecticut. And we have here her name. And that's her also in school, but I'm trying to see her on the basketball team so you can see her name, so you can see that is her in this picture, so you know that I'm not just making it up. This is kind of covering it. I can't move it, but here is her name, Daejhanae, and I don't know why this is in the way. That's in the way right here, where over her name. I don't know if I can get that out. So I guess obviously I can't. Right there underneath this says Daejhanae Jackson. I don't know why that's in the way and why. Yeah, it must be the way my investigative team took the screenshot. So sorry about that. Also here is Daejhanae. I kind of like you know, when I'm doing the work, I had someone help with this. So I apologize. I like for the name to show so you can see that we're not just making it up. You'll actually see the name. That's very important for that to show. And then we have here Daejhanae Jackson. And this one, you see the name, Daejhanae Jackson. This is her in her class picture at Suffield High School. Look like she stayed in Raleigh, North Carolina as well. I have her as 26 years old, and she's born October 30th of 1996. All right, so now we'll go back. Okay. Our next suspect is Khalil Andre Cook. He's 25 years old. This is Shanquella's best friend. It is kind of up in the air if he is homosexual or not. We don't know. I found some information from a source. I will hearsay. This is hearsay. One of the bloggers, the Gerald NCB, who knows the family, stated on a live with Gossip Girl that he was a roommate with Shanquella back in college, and she resided with him and his girlfriend. So a lot of people were shocked to hear that because they thought that he was homosexual, that he was a gay man. So he's supposed to be Shanquella's best friend. He also stays in North Carolina. He went to Winston-Salem University. We kind of put the zodiac sign there, Gemini, because you can kind of, you know, about horoscopes. You can apply some of their positive and negative traits to kind of figure out who they are. He is born in North Carolina as his hometown. He goes to the same, he went to the same high school as his mother. I went through and I looked up some information about Khalil. Who is Khalil? You know, Khalil has a brother, and his grandmother is quite involved in his life. I got some pictures of him, lots of pictures of him. I wish I could have added them into this slide so you can see him later on. I mean, you can see how he looked as a child growing up. I think that's kind of interesting. It looks like his grandmother is a big fan of football. His brother played football, and his grandmother was very much into the older brother. You can see her just complimenting him and encouraging him. You do see Khalil taking some pictures with the grandmother, but his older brother, there's way more photos with the grandmother being a little bit more involved. I guess that's one of her first grandsons is his brother, Cameron Cook. So you got Cameron, Khalil, and his mother named Kamika Cook. I got this information by digging on Facebook, and I got lots of pictures to show. So Khalil, from what I've heard, Khalil is, I guess, one of the reasons why Shanquella went on this trip. His grandmother comes from Martinsville, Virginia, and there it looked like Khalil lived in Atlanta at one point as well. And I think that's about all I have on him. That's interesting. No children. He worked, he was an unsuccessful entrepreneur. He also tried to do some of the things that Shanquella did. He took out a PPP loan, but his business wasn't booming. He wasn't making the money like Shanquella. He just didn't have it popping like her. There's a social media post where she says she's going to hire him. And it looked like, and then when she passed away, which I was hoping that post would be in here as well, it states on there how much he missed her and how he, wished, who is he going to call to go on trips and who's going to give him business advice. So that says a lot right there. Yeah, Malik St. Patrick Dyer, he is mainly friends with Daejhanae. They're best friends. There was a Facebook post where he posted on the 30th of 2022 as they were coming back from Cabo, saying that he got her back. Happy birthday, because her birthday was on the 30th. So he posted that, and that was a day after Shanquella had passed. Who is Malik St. Patrick Dyer? He has a child. He's 26 years old, and he was born June 22nd, 1996. He's a Cancer. I have not found, I'm not sure if he went to the same college with them. And I found out from from NC Beach, from Juro, his occupation is he hosts parties in Connecticut. We don't know what kind of parties. It's rumored that he might be bisexual. I don't know for sure. And it's rumored that him and Khalil may have had relations. So that I don't know. That's all hearsay. And I don't have any evidence that that is true. He is from Connecticut and goes to Connecticut often. So as you notice, him and Daejhanae are from the same state. And Daejhanae is his daughter's godmother. Next suspect is Winter Essence Donovan. She was born December 5th, 1997. She's 25 years old. She's from Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm not sure what her occupation is, but all of these girls had a relationship outside of Shanquella. There's plenty of pictures taken with them going on vacation. You can see Winter and Daejhanae in photo here. Winter is biracial. It is rumored. People keep saying that she's Puerto Rican and she speaks Spanish. When I looked up her father, Robert, he is listed as Caucasian, and her mother is an African-American woman, and she works in the, I want to say, Winston-Salem, was it Greensboro or Winston-Salem area? She works in health care. She provides like behavioral health services. She's like the CEO of her own business there. Winter was in the room and was on this trip, and it appears that, like I said, she's a little bit more closer to Daejhanae and Elise. She also attended college, and that's not on the slide, but she also went to Winston-Salem College as well. And I'm not sure what she majored in. Next suspect is Elise Michelle Hyatt. She's 27 years old, one of the oldest here. January 16, 1995. She's from North Carolina. I'm not sure what her occupation is, but she also attended Winston-Salem University. And she's a Capricorn. Oh, sorry, I got a little typo here. I got my E in university. And she's a Capricorn. Elise Michelle, I lost a sister on the night of them going on the trip. It was reported at 1 a.m. at the Super 8 motel. Her sister, Anita Hyatt, I believe she was in her early 30s, 31. I think she was 31 years old, suffered domestic violence and passed away due to her ex-husband unaliving her at the Super 8 motel. I'm not sure if Elise found this information out while she was on her en route or while she was on the trip or how that worked for her. But that is important information to note about that event of her sister passing away, because we will get into that in a second. Suspect 6 is Nazir Wiggins. This is the gentleman who came a day later. On that other page, the first page, and I wish I had it on this page, but you would have his airplane ticket, which was major because he's trying to prove his case that he was not there during this fight. He went on live and he discussed that thoroughly, but he said a lot of things that kind of murked up and raised antennas as to what really went on. So Nazir is 25 years old. He was born October 22nd, 1997. He was one of the ones that said they was going on this trip to celebrate his birthday. So we have 5 out of the 7 are very close. You got Nazir, Malik, Elise, Winter, and Daejhanae are close. And we have Shanquella that was just close with Khalil. So already we're seeing weird dynamics there with the social group. I don't know what kind of education he has or what he does, but he's a Libra. And I'm not certain that he has any children. Oh, I'm sorry. I do know. He also went to college I'm not sure if it was Winston-Salem, but he did go to college. And not sure about his occupation. He gives his details as to him arriving, coming in, finding Shanquella's body in the game room. She wasn't feeling good. He turned her on her side. He rubbed her hair and played Summer Walker while she was laying there not feeling good. When he arrived, he said he arrived, I think, at either 2 or 3. His ticket says 12:19 Cabo time, but he said he got to the house at 2 or 3 o'clock. So we will discuss that later. That doesn't make sense. All right, now let's get into the timeline. I don't have the video playing here, but I put up the pictures, the videos everywhere. This timeline shows Shanquella walking through the hall and she's looking for her friends. And she say, "Where y'all at, hoes? It don't take that long to get naked." Now, when I first heard her say that, I was thinking that she was talking about changing into your bathing suit, because I want to ask you guys. Now, want to be a little interactive in this. Would you be okay with going skinny dipping and getting naked? I'm not trying to judge her at all, but would you be okay or comfortable with that with girls that you are not as familiar with? I would say that these girls are acquaintances. Her mother also said that on one of the interviews you can catch, where she says that she don't know anything about these girls. They went to her college. She's never met the other ones, but she knew Khalil. Khalil was very close with the family and went on family vacations. So as Khalil was, I would think, is primarily the reason why she was there. The first picture here, you see Khalil in his looks like swimming trunks. And I'm going to assume, because I don't know the time frame, that they arrived. They were, Shanquella's mother stated that she talked to her daughter when she arrived. Her daughter said that they were about to eat tacos. So I'm not sure if that's when she arrived, but sometime that day on the 28th, she talked to her daughter. Shanquella's mother did not give us a time. I think that's very important as to what time did she talk to her daughter? What time did her daughter land? How was Shanquella feeling before she went on this trip? And she said she was going to eat tacos. And I'm trying to think, maybe they went swimming before they ate. And she would call her later after she gets settled in. So I'm assuming they came in, they got settled. For me, when I'm on a trip, I want to get me something to eat. I'm sorry, because I'm tired. I want to take a nap, shower, find me some lunch, and then, if I want to get in the pool, then fine. But usually I'm tired on the first day. But these are young girls and gentlemen in their 20s, so maybe they have some extra energy I don't have. So she's walking through the hall, and where y'all at, hoes, where y'all at? She called them the H word. it don't take y'all long to get naked. So I'm not sure if they had agreed to doing the skinny dipping, but by the body language and the look on their face, it don't look like they did. But it seemed to me that she thought they were going to. And then she's hearing them talking. They're talking in the room. They're all cluttered together in this room. You see Elise over here looking like, who that? You see the sumo wrestler, basketball stance here from the giant with her hands on her hips, looking aggressive. And I'm not saying that just because of her color and body. I'm saying that by the vibe she was giving off. And you see Mrs. Winter turns and she looks at Shanquella and she looks back at her phone. So she asks, where you at? No answer. And she said, what is that you said? You're gonna make it hot. You're gonna make it hot. I don't know what Daejhanae was talking about, making anything hot. I don't know if she was saying it's gonna get hot in here, or she say something. A lot of people are assuming that they probably was talking some bad stuff or talking some crap about Shanquella behind her back. The look on their face, if you can read body language, it looked like they were tired of her. They wasn't feeling her vibe, and they didn't want to go skinny dipping. It was kind of strange. She talked about skinny dipping, and Daejhanae started talking about her swimsuits. That some of them are too cute to wear. She got them over there. I don't know. It's just her conversation that makes sense. It all sounds like somebody just putting some things together because she almost got busted talking about her. That's what it seems to me. So we already see the trip starting off with a little bit of tension there, looking like the girls ain't feeling her. They don't want to play nicely. Mean Girls group is kind of formulating, and Shanquella is being loud, bubbly, using terms and words that you would use when you're a little closer with your friends and what she was, calling someone, hey ho, hey B, and they ain't really cool with you, can kind of ruffle feathers. So we just, and the reason why I'm bringing that up, because we're just trying to bring up things of leading to this tussle. So we see the animosity, we see them ignoring her, we see them not engaging. And even when she came in, they didn't say anything or say hi in the video. They didn't say, hey girl, we over here, girl. Here we go. Girl, we gonna have some fun. None of that. It was none of that. But we also have to remember that Elise lost her sister. So I'm not sure if they just found this out and they're just kind of not in a bubbly mood. I'm not sure. The next video they show, we have on the 28th, you got Shanquella inside the pool, and down at the bottom, and my stuff is covering it, but you can kind of read right here. It says skinny dipping by myself. Was that in the pool? I can't read that, but she said she's skinny dipping by herself. So this is her. She actually went out and skinny dipping. I'm gonna assume we don't know who took the picture. Perhaps Khalil. And so I guess it's the cameraman. He takes a picture of her. What does this mean? She's by herself. They are not wanting to socialize with her. Now we have here where, sorry, my picture's a little blurry, but you see them, they're toasting, drink, you'll hear her say, and that's Shanquella's hand, toasting. The boys are sitting over on the table on this side, and the girls are sitting down here, and there's Daejhanae. It's important to note the color of the clothes that they have on, because when she was walking through the house, they had these outfits on. So that lets you know all of this has all taken place on the 28th. As there's a timestamp here at 9:54. So I don't know if that's 9:54. It looks dark if you can look in the background. So that some people's clock automatically changes back when you go to a different time zone. And St. Cabos is 2 hours behind North Carolina. We're 2 hours ahead. So you have the skinny dipping along, you got the taco, dinner, and drinks and games with the friends. This is kind of giving you an idea of how the table is. So in the kitchen, you had the cooks over here making the food. So it would be nice to hear their input as to what they notice during the day. During this night. And you have Daejhanae sitting at the head of the table here. And you had Shanquella sitting at the head of the table. Then you had the boys here. And the two girls sat there and left this empty space. And it looked like there was an empty space here too. So they had 2 empty spaces and they're sitting the furthest away from Shanquella. And I don't have a clear picture where you can kind of all see them. But I have it, but it's not on this slide. I'm sorry. The right stuff. So I have to have a talk with my team. On here is some of the games. We have Winter Donovan here, and Winter is doing push-ups. And if you could pay attention right here to her nails, these white nails and the length, and look at her hands. And she got on the black outfit and she's trying to do a plank. Shanquella's laughing at them, basically saying, okay, y'all, is that the best you got? Winter. And then there's another picture that I had that I thought would have been in here as well. And that is the picture with Daejhanae. She's also doing push-ups and you can see her outfit. Inside of here, there's push-ups or a double shot. So I guess I don't know what this game is and how they played it, but they was doing some push-ups. Over here, it says all players send hate mail, mean text. So all players, which is them, they had to send some hate mail. They had to send a mean text, a DM, or a post, etc., to the people that flaked tonight. I'm not sure who flaked. I don't know. I don't understand that. But yeah, I kept looking at that to figure out who would be the people flaking. Next we have Shanquella fell asleep in the hammock in the patio, and you see the patio right outside here. This is kind of, I don't know if I can blow this up because it's hard to see. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can't see this in here. I had a better picture where you can actually see the hammock. But there's the hammock that she was in is laying out here outside of this master bedroom. This is the master bedroom here. Khalil posted a video, and the timestamp here, you can see it underneath my red here. It says 8:45, and you can see her in this hammock. She's asleep. So I don't know what kind of drink she had. It's a showing like she went to sleep before she ate tacos, if you look at the timestamp. But in pictures, you can change the timestamp. So you got to keep that in mind. Khalil Cook posts video on Shanquella's Insta story using her phone. And he states, we have our first dead body she threw for. Very cryptic and weird. Then we have October 29th. We have the fight, the assault. Not the fight, my apologies. The assault. You have Daejhanae here. You have a beard here, which looks like that is Khalil. And then you don't see the hands in here. But next to him, there's Winter's hands. And I'm sorry, I'll have to come back and bring some other pictures that show some important things that need to be on here so you can see. This here is, so she comes in and they say, okay. Then she just starts fighting her. Punches her all the way across. She falls on the floor. She's beating her. She pulls off her her hair bonnet, and look at the sunset. Look out there. It looks like morning. We need to know what time this fight occurred. It looks like morning. Then after that, you see, I was able to see her reflex of her toes go, both went lateral. We call it bilateral, off to the side, and then her feet reflex straight up. That happens sometime when there's an acute or a sudden injury to the back of to her back or her spine. You will see things like that when we do like our neurological checks as nurses. You'll see that. So all of this, she picked her up by her neck, slammed her on the ground, constant punching, kicking in the face. All of those things can cause an injury. Your spine is very sensitive, and anything can cause an injury. If you pick up something the wrong way and twist your back, you can cause some damage. We have fine nerves and fibers that go up that spinal cord, and anything that gets pushed out of socket due to trauma and pressure, it can, somebody hitting you and beating you on your head and your neck and you slamming on the hard ground, that can cause injury, because there's a lot of people saying they don't think that this, what she did, cause injury, but it definitely can. And you can't prove that it didn't. So if you're not a medical professional, you can't, it's hard to say what hit, what kick, what thump caused the actual damage to the spinal cord, but we see on video that you played a part that can cause damage to the spinal cord. So that's all we need to know. So everybody on the social media that's like, oh, I don't know, I don't think that caused it, I don't know. How do you know if this, what she did, didn't cause it? You don't know the amount of pressure and force. That's a lot of pressure and force. So I'm not sure. We got to stop arguing with things that are plain sight. When it's right in your face, it's right in your face, right? So details of the video: we have 1 aggressor, 1 victim, 3 bystanders. Now we have a lot of stuff going on social media. I'm not going to get into that on this video. That would be for further notice. But there are people saying that there's only 2 people and watching, filming, recording, and one, and the other than Daejhanae and Shanquella. The other ones are not in the room. I don't know where to get that from, because I hear a male's voice and see a beard, which the voice everyone says sounds like Malik. You see Khalil standing there watching, and you see Winter off on the side saying, why she not fighting back? And that's Malik to say, you fight back or something, do something. And he's encouraging her to fight. I don't think that's Khalil's voice. So they're going to have to prove that that's Khalil's voice, and Malik isn't in there, if that's what they're trying to say. So, all right. So, let's me go. Can I? Go back in here. Okay, now let's get into the nitty-gritty, guys. Anything that you notice about this fight? Okay, so my team is here and acting scary and doesn't want to speak. So, what do we know? We have the video. We see who's in the video. We have a video that looked like it gives us a time. We see the fight. What we don't know is what time she called her mother, when she arrived, who paid for the villa, and after she wind up dying and that video goes off, there is a lot of craziness about what happened. We do know that there's an autopsy, and we do know that the autopsy does not match the police report. The police report is saying one thing and saying she died at a certain time and that the doctor was there giving CPR and 14 cycles of rounds of CPR and was it 6 shocks or something like that. If she had a spinal cord injury, because they're saying that she had an injury and then she died 15 minutes later, we now have a housekeeper saying that she found her body at 12. And now we got Nazir saying that he came at 2, but according to new information we got, she would have died sometime in the morning. So we're waiting on toxicology reports. I am going to just tell you what I think happened, or from the information I got on why I feel it happened. I feel that they arrived. I don't know what time they arrived. I don't know who arrived with who. And I don't know where the animosity began and what was going on prior. But it looks like there was some stuff already brewing before this trip started. It looked like these girls wasn't really cool, wasn't kicking it with Shanquella just by what we've seen in the videos. We see her coming in. There's tension. She's bright and bubbly. Her personality is bothering her. When people are jealous or, of your success and they're not as successful and don't like your personality, they're not feeling your vibe, it's just not a good recipe. It's a recipe for disaster, and it's just not a good idea to go on trips with people like that. So no matter whatever she said or did, it was going to be an issue. So I'm wondering, after they came in, you see they didn't want to go swimming, so they're already mad. They're probably they're talking stuff about her in the room. They go and she goes swimming by herself. Maybe she's made some comments about it at the table. They're not sitting next to her at the table, but she's still trying to engage and laugh in these games. But you can, even though they were kind of laughing when they were doing their push-ups, you can still kind of see that they really wasn't feeling this. They really wasn't messing with her. But we also got to remember that Elise's sister just passed. I'm not sure why Elise would go on a trip when her sister just got killed so brutally, and then your friend, an acquaintance of yours also dies on the trip. That's kind of crazy. After that fact, we don't know what happened the night before. We need to wonder why she's not fighting back. Everyone is saying she's not a fighter. Her mother and father say she's not a fighter. But let me say this as a nurse. Whenever we are faced with danger, our body goes into fight or flight. Our parasympathetic and sympathetic system get the going, and it prepares you to fight, flee, or run. You're going to do one, and it's all about survival. It's not about me being Joe Louis or being, Muhammad Ali, being a fighter. You don't have to be a fighter, but when someone's coming punching at your face, you're in danger. So your body normally would either kind of put your hands over your face into a protective mode, fight back, do what you got to do. But if she's already sleepy in a hammock, we see the drinks. What's going on? Is there anything in her drink? Because for you to say there's alcohol poisoning, we got to have a substantial level of alcohol. And not to mention that inside of the autopsy reports, they did not find alcohol. They found a slip, basically her C1 and C2 by her neck had slipped out. So you have a atlas and they call it an atlas because your head and your neck rotates there. And if those two vertebrae is slipped out, you do not have good support of your neck and your head. That is where your brainstem is, and that's what controls a lot of everything in your body, from movement to breathing and to your bowels, everything. So if one of those nerves or something gets damaged because it's an injury there, it can also affect the bottom half of your body. So the best thing is stability and medical attention right away, which we know that didn't happen. So your body can go into shock if you didn't had a injury, and you can go through bleeding underneath your skull. They did find, blood on her eye, which lets us know that there was some bleeding. We seen the blows to the head in the video, so we know that there was some damage there. Motive, what happened, what caused this, we do not know. We see the funny acting. We see that there was some games being played. And then if you notice, it said to send someone a mean text and a mean DM. Did she send something that set something off the morning of? Whatever happened, I'm thinking that it happened the night before. If it did not happen the night before, it was premeditated to get her drunk or put something in her drink to make her to slow her physical down, where she's not as alert. So if I put a sleeping pill, for instance, my friend took a sleeping pill, and when that Ambien is kind of strong, and when you get up or somebody wakes you suddenly, your timing is slow and delayed. When they say, "You not fight back," she said, "No." I mean, even her voice sounds, I don't know how from what I heard her in the video, that sounds funny. I mean, yeah, it's early in the morning. We were told that she sleeps naked, but I don't know. Something about that seems crazy to me, that she's getting drugged or they're fighting her. She has no clothes on. Did she sleep naked, or did something else happen? We can tell that video, there's another part of the video, because it says, okay. So this video is chopped. The video is chopped. I was able to hear something in the background. If you really slow the video down and listen, it's like you can hear something in the background. I want you guys to keep note that you can play with the audio and change audios and videos, because think about it. She's getting beat and hit like that, and she ain't making no noise. She's not screaming, moaning, nothing. You don't hear Shanquella saying anything. That's odd. So that may have been taken out of the video. And if you listen really closely, it's like you hear some muffledness in the background, like almost like a scream. It was said by, and I don't want to even quote him because this guy seems not to be so credible, by Gerardo Zuniga, from the Mexican journalist, investigative journalist, that Elise came in. He said two different stories on the lead attorney. He said Elise came in to break up the fight. There's another part of the video, but then he said on NC Beat there's not. So I don't know. But according to his first claim, Elise comes in to break up the fight. Elise comes in to break up the fight, and then she and Daejhanae gets into a scuffle. And the reason why, and you have to pay attention if this is true, he says the reason why Elise came to break up the fight is because she heard screaming, but we hear no screaming in the video. So that has to make you wonder, where's the screaming in the video? If she heard screaming, why we didn't hear it? If someone is beating you on your head like that, no noise, because the amount of pressure and beating and kicking in your face like that hurt. I would think you would make some kind of noise. It's just kind of normal. And you can ask yourself if you ever witnessed a fight, if you ever had witnessed a silent fight where no one's cussing, no one's screaming, no one's yelling, they're just taking it. That doesn't sound right. It seems like that videotape is altered. That is my opinion. I don't have any evidence, but that's what I think. The last thing to discuss, and then I'm going to end the video because there's so much, and I'll be back to take other parts and discuss certain topics. The autopsy and the police report. It is said that the doctor and the police are compromised, and they lied on the reports. They do not match anything that the autopsy say. The autopsy says she died at 3:00 and then 15 minutes later. I'm going to try to explain this to people who are not in the medical field. I am a hospice. I've done hospice before, and I had to pronounce a body. When I am called out to pronounce that body, I am going out. They call me and say, you know, the patient has passed away. We need you to come. I come. And on the form for the time of death, it's going to be when I do my assessment. And my assessment, whenever a medical professional can say there's no heartbeat, that is the time of death. It is an approximation. It can vary from hours. Even though they called me and said, hey, Mr. So-and-so has passed away, they might call me at midnight. He might have really died at 10 o'clock. They didn't see him until 12. They call me at 12. I don't get there till 1, and I assess him at 1:15. On the form, it's going to say 1:15 a.m., but he died in his sleep at 9. To get a more precise time is to do a more invasive, thorough autopsy where they can look at the tissue, the toxicology, and go more into the body to see actually when things started breaking down. They will look at the residue of the tissue as to when the body went through rigor mortis and the rigor mortis process, and they can get more of a precise time when they do a more thorough medical autopsy. But right off the bat, no, you're going to go by what you was told, when the doctor got there, when they assessed and did apical, they, you know, assess the apical pulse, which is your heart. They listen to that to make sure for 60 seconds that heart is not beating. I have to do that in order to say you're dead. I cannot, I'm sorry, in order to say that you have transpired. I cannot just say, okay, what time? Y'all said it was 12 o'clock. All right. And then I'm there at 3 and I assess and I say, oh, no heartbeat at 3. And I'm going to put the time of death is at 12. You cannot pronounce someone unalived until a medical professional assess for a apical pulse that is non-existent. That has to be. So that 3 to 3:15, that's why you see that. However, she could have died. They could have had the fight at 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning. She could have passed away 9, 10 o'clock. We know now that it was by 12. So so you need to think about that. If the report is compromised and they said they did CPR, they did this, they did that, there's no way if they got there at 2 and 3 o'clock and the maid found her cold and dead in the bathroom at 12 o'clock, there is no way, which that story also corroborates with Nazir. Go look at his video. He says the nurse found her in the bathroom. Okay. I think the friends wanted her to be found in the bathroom, so they didn't have to find a body. However, if the nurse found her the housekeeper found her at 12 cold, when the doctor got there at 2 or 3 o'clock, the body she was already gone. There's no CPR to give. All of that stuff is a lie. So stop referencing the things in that report, of the police report and of the doctor's notes as, well, wait a minute, I thought she gave CPR. I thought she probably didn't give CPR. Wait a minute, I thought she gave 6 rounds of dish. She probably didn't. It's a lie, guys. It's a lie. They were there covering up their story. So those others, they paid them, and those others allegedly they received funds, and that's what everybody believes that happened, for them to leave and go back to America. So that is what we have right now. I'll have a second video where we'll follow up on how to vet information, what information to use, how to chew the meat, spit out the bones, what to use, what not to use, what to ignore, what to understand. You can put little notes to the side. Okay, this is rumor, this is hearsay, and you throw that off to the side. That's nothing that you're going to reference. And if you go on social media, you'll hear 50 million people in the comments arguing over hearsay. I heard that the winner picked her up and slammed her on her neck. Guys, how can Winner pick her up and slam her on her neck when she was already on her butt on the floor? So that would mean Winner would have to go after Daejhanae already slammed her. That was a slam we seen. But Daejhanae's, this information came from someone who knows Daejhanae's mother. which means that is information that's tainted because Daejhanae doesn't want to take the rap. I don't know why people can't see that. And for some reason, Mr. Gerald Jackson from North Carolina Beats knows Daejhanae's mom. So that is crazy. There is no way that could have happened. Nobody, your girl not about to come after she was body slammed, pick her up off the floor by her neck and re-body slam her on the floor. It doesn't make sense. Think about what you're saying before you say it and play it out in your head. Does that make sense? We see her on the floor. How did Winter put her on the floor when she's already on the floor? That means you have to go and be like, oh, you got her on the floor? Let me, okay, she's in a sitting position. Let me put my hands around her neck and try to body slam her on the floor like a mini body slam. Like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Who's going to do that, guys? So anyways, I'm going to ask you to just kind of use just your regular brain to think. And I will be back to look at more evidence and talk through more things. Thank you for listening to my live. I'm sorry about the length, but there was so much to go through just to set the story in play. And then the part 2, we'll start going from here to look at things and discuss evidence a little bit further. Thank you, and everyone have a good night. Bye-bye. Did it end? Oh, my goodness. That's crazy.